Coming to you this day from the third floor of the Rhode Island State House, my name is Dave Barber, in a segment that we simply call Capitol Spotlight. We put the spotlight on a member of the General Assembly and discuss some of the things they have been working on and how it might affect you, the Rhode Island citizen. It gives me a great deal of pleasure to welcome back a woman that we've interviewed many, many times. She is always so gracious with us. It is my pleasure to welcome back the Honorable State Representative Patricia Morgan. Representative, it's good to see you.
It's nice being here.
You know, your community, Coventry, has been in the news. Bring us up to date, if you could. Give us a thumbnail sketch of what's happened with that Central Coventry Fire District. Tell us what's happening with that.
Okay, well, you know the whole issue is about property taxes. The average house in Central Coventry pays about $75 a month for fire services, and that has gone up a lot in the last 6 years. They actually consolidated 6 years ago to save money, and instead their budget grew by 65%.
And now let me stop you there, if I might. You did say they consolidated with the goal of saving money. How did it happen that it didn't work?
You know, they didn't consolidate. I mean, they didn't slim down. You know, when you consolidate, you think you're going to get rid of people that, not to get rid of people, but you're going to, unnecessary anymore. Instead, they added permanent firefighters. They hired all the volunteers. You know, volunteers are used as a way to keep down overtime. It really controls cost. Well, instead of keeping the volunteers, they got rid of them. And you know, they really just, I think the board acquiesced to union demands instead of representing the people.
So essentially, the fire district went broke.
It went broke.
And there was a big question as to whether or not the citizens would be protected.
That's right. The folks defeated or rejected the budget 3 times because it was calling for a 60% tax increase. At this point, I mean, and yes, there was some concern about their safety. There wasn't a temporary solution to provide for their safety while the district worked out their problems. So at this point, we're going to have an election. All right, the task force, which was started by the citizens, the taxpayers, have found 7 people that they've endorsed as their slate. And these folks know that the goal is to cut expenses so that there's no tax increase. And there's a couple of different ways we can get there. Major concessions from the unions, or going to another system, a hybrid system.
I know, too, you have been working very diligently on some Medicaid fraud legislation. Nobody wants to see anyone ripping the system off. You have some legislation that deals with Medicaid fraud. Can you tell our viewers about that? Yeah,
you know, I think the folks out there know that government is broken, and it's particularly broken when we find that the food stamp, the EBT cards, which has the food stamp money on it, is being used to purchase things that shouldn't be purchased with food stamps. To me, food stamps mean just that. You buy food with it. So the first bill it prohibits people from buying alcohol, tobacco, pornography, gambling tickets, those kinds of things that just really aren't food.
Sure.
It's food only. Then the second one that I sponsored says that they should have to present a photo ID with the EBT card. And this keeps people from, I heard stories anecdotally, clearly, but I think it's been the data mining study that went on said that this was happening. People are selling their food stamp card for money.
No question about
it.
It's
happening
all
and
the
it's
time.
Rampant. In fact, last summer, I think you and I talked about it, a guy $650,000 worth of stealing from the food stamp program. So by presenting a photo ID with the food stamp, you know that it has to be the person who we gave the food stamps to. Because really, Rhode Islanders are generous people. We don't want anybody going hungry. We want kids going to school with their tummies full, but we don't want people selling their food stamp.
Let me tell you what, 2 very, very important pieces of legislation. Representative Patricia Morgan, thank you so much for talking to us. You're really on target with this stuff because the problem with fraud with the system is currently rampant.
Yeah, it hurts. It hurts the people who are paying the freight, and it hurts the people who really need the program.
Thank you so much for talking to us.
Okay.
And of course, we could not do it without you. My name is Dave Barber. You're watching Capitol Television.